Hey everybody, it is Wednesday, November 4th, 2020, which puts us a day after the presidential election and we still do not have a clear winner. I anticipate it's going to be a couple of days before a winner is declared, and I wanted to share a story and some thoughts. This might be a little bit boring at first, but stick around because I have some valid points to make. It's getting colder here in Sacramento, California, and last week I decided to clear some old coats out of my closet because I have recently been gifted one and I purchased one. I tried donating this box of jackets last week, but the Goodwill along the route I was running my errands had recently closed down. When my wife got home last night, I decided to drop the box of jackets off at a location that I knew was open. It was a Goodwill storefront with a donation center attached. However, the donation portion of the building closed down at 3 p.m. and I was not able to get rid of the jackets. I did, however, go inside just to look around. And while I was in there, I was kind of in the back and I heard somebody at the front of the building yelling. And it wasn't really aggressive. It was more just someone asking a question really loudly. However, my mind kind of almost instantly went to if shots start flying, I know where they keep the bats in this store, which is sad in itself, right? I mean that's kind of where my thought process went, but given everything that's happened over the past number of years, I guess that's just the world we live in nowadays. As I left the Goodwill, I ran into what I suspect was probably the person yelling. It was a homeless man who was shirtless. He asked me if I had any extra shirts in the car, and unfortunately I didn't, and for some reason forgot why I had even gone to the Goodwill in the first place to donate the jackets. And living in the downtownish area, I'd come across a lot of homeless people, and my kind of knee-jerk reaction to almost all their questions is no, because I've kind of become desensitized to them, seeing them all the time, and the majority of the time they just want money and literally nothing else. Sometimes I try to give them food and they obviously don't want food. And I don't give money to homeless people anymore because I don't want to be supporting a habit that they might have. And I don't think giving money to these people is really necessarily going to help. This argument can go lots of different ways, but if someone keeps on giving them money, then what incentive is there to work? I sat there for about a minute talking to the man, and I honestly really did feel pretty bad for him. It was around 65 degrees, and here in Sacramento right now we're dropping down into the low 40s at night. It gets cold, and I see a lot of these homeless people when it gets really cold in Sacramento. I'm riding my bike home from work, and it's just absolutely freezing outside, and they're sleeping on the concrete, and it tugs at my heartstrings. One, sleeping on concrete, that sounds brutal. Two, it's absolutely freezing, and lots of times I'm in pants and a jacket, and they just got a simple blanket over them. I don't know how they do it. Anyways, I was thinking about giving him the shirt off of my back, and honestly, if it was almost any other shirt in my closet besides maybe a couple of old wrestling shirts that I have, I would have given it to him. I was wearing one of my favorite shirts. It's an oldish, just workout shirt that reminds me of a really good childhood friend that I lost in the war that is still ongoing. And part of the shirt, I have it right here. Never forgotten. Never forgotten. Bought this shirt from Rogue Fitness, and part of the proceeds from the sale of the shirt go to the Iraq and Afghanistan Veterans of America. I like donating to a lot of these veteran causes for obvious reasons, and I couldn't part with this shirt. I felt bad. I walked to the car. I paused for a minute outside the car, and then I just, without looking at him, I walked right back in the Goodwill and started looking for a shirt for this man. But it felt really awkward. One, buying a random shirt for someone I don't know. You know, will it fit him? Will he like it? You know, it's getting cold. He's probably going to need a coat. And then, you know, light bulb, ding, you got coats in the car. Are you kidding me right now? So I walk back to the car. I grab him a coat, walk up to him and give it to him. He's super appreciative. And I walk back to the car and I'm sitting in there for a while just thinking about so many things. You know, the homeless problem has gotten a lot worse over the last 15 years. I've lived in the downtownish, midtown, and now outskirts of Sacramento for 15 years now, and I could say without a doubt that the homeless problem has gotten substantially worse, and it sucks. You know, it sucks for a lot of reasons. It sucks for them. It sucks for people who aren't them. It sucks for the business owners. It's not good all around. But what do we do? You know, how did we get here in the first place? What do we do? What do we do for these people, or to, you know, prevent this cycle from continuing? And I'm not going to pretend that I have the answer, but and I don't necessarily think it's just, you know, take care of them, you know, putting them in housing, you know, feed them, all this stuff, although we do need to do that. We need to address the root causes of why they are there in the first place. When I was sitting in the car thinking about all this stuff, I also started thinking, man, that would have made a great video. I've recently started making videos on YouTube, and they're essentially all like how-to videos. This video that I'm making right now is really not the kind of stuff I plan on putting up on my channel, but it's important. I thought it would come across as looking for a pat on the back for what I had done, and that couldn't be farther from the truth. When I was younger, my dad's best friend, whom I refer to as my uncle, Dave Warden. Hey Dave, one of the things he taught me was that when you give something to somebody, you're not really doing it for them. You're doing it for yourself and how it makes you feel. And that's 100% okay. And it's actually, you know, great. It's a bonus. Both sides win. I subscribe to that, and I think that we need more of that right now, which is where my mind ultimately drifted off to, because it was election night, that I hope Joe Biden and Kamala Harris win the election. And I didn't vote for them, by the way. I obviously did not vote for Donald Trump either, although I did vote for him in 2016 because the whole trickle-down economics thing was really new to me. I never had heard it before, and come on. I mean, how obviously self-serving can that be, right? Trickle-down economics. I mean, if you just think about, give it some time and think about it, it sounds like a cruel trick, honestly. I mean, you know, business owners do not create jobs. Demand creates jobs. A trickle-up society makes a lot more sense, and I'm hoping at some point that we can get to that place as a society where that's openly admitted and embraced. If you look for some videos by Nick Hanauer, I think is his last name, he makes a really good case for that, and it really is smart capitalism. Right now, the form of capitalism that the American model kind of revolves around is I don't think it's sustainable at all. The separation of wealth, the wealth inequality, if it continues like it has been, we're going to end up with a police state, or everything's just going to collapse on itself. It's just it's not a sustainable model. And I've never really been into politics very much in my life, but especially now that I have kids, I think about the future, and it scares me what they might be handed. Anyways, to wrap this up, I'm not saying that Biden or Harris or any of the Democrats really have all the answers, or even most of them really. It kind of sucks that we have this two-party system where it's, one or the other, and it's not really a lot in between. But I think that he has empathy. I think he has humility. I think that, we need somebody at the top who's not going to point fingers or call people names, or whine about how they think everybody is treating them. We need somebody who is going to be a good leader and, surround himself by other people who will be good leaders as well. It will be nice if we get to a point where we're less divisive than we are now, because it's just entirely out of hand and it's exhausting. And I wish I had a switch where I could turn it off, where I didn't pay attention or didn't care, but I don't. And I think with Trump in office, that the trend of divisiveness will continue. So, I guess we'll see how this video ages. If Trump wins and we go another 4 years, we'll see where we go. If Biden wins, I guess we'll see how that pans out as well. But I just thought I'd like to share that story and my thoughts. If you are still listening, I guess thank you. And maybe, think about some of this stuff or not. It doesn't matter. I doubt a lot of people are going to watch any of this video really. But I thought it would be cool to get my thoughts on film, and it's almost going to be like a little time capsule for my kids when they are my age, or who knows, my grandkids. All right. Take care, everybody. Bye. I was also thinking, why does this man not have a shirt? This really awkward thing to not have, right? However, I was talking to a best good friend of mine, Sam Guevara, and he said whenever he sees a homeless person without a shirt, he kind of just assumes that they wiped their ass with it because they didn't have any toilet paper, which I guess makes sense, right? And that in itself is a little depressing, because, that they have to take a shit in an alley and wipe their ass with their shirt because they don't have anything else. And also because I hope my jacket doesn't suffer the same fate.